Welcome back to Second Cinema, everyone. Joining me today is George Sartiano. He is with the School of Communication Arts in North Raleigh, and he is the program coordinator by way of LA.
LA, where I was working professionally, and then I went back to school, attended school in Chicago, and then at Indiana University, and now I'm teaching myself.
Well, we're glad to have you here in Raleigh.
Well, thanks.
So tell us a little bit about your background, how you came here to Raleigh. I mean, you have roots here, obviously.
I grew up, I went to college in North Carolina. I am not only a Davidson alumnus, but an East Carolina alumnus, as well as a School of the Arts alumnus. And I got my start in filmmaking here in North Carolina in around 1993. And I worked all the way through my tenure at the North Carolina School of the Arts. And then decided it was time to jump out to LA, where jumped right into it.
You've done a lot of work while you're out there.
I did. I started at the that famous show Hard Copy, which I'm so proud to say I was a part of. And then I went on to work on a number of different shows, and eventually worked my way up to managing a costume and special effects company, and worked on things like Planet of the Apes, The Last Samurai, The Core, Solaris, a number of different major motion pictures for a few big studios.
So making a decision to come back to North Carolina and comparing your experiences to those that you had out in Los Angeles, how would you fare North Carolina's filmmaking?
Well, before I left in the late 90s, North Carolina was the #2 spot in the country for filmmaking, and they were starting to do major films like Virus and a couple other really large projects here. Unfortunately, I recall in 98 or 99, it seemed like we got the runaway production to north of the border. We all went to Canada, and we went from doing many, many films here to many fewer films. So that was a big part of the reason why, even though I was in the second graduating class from the School of the Arts, a lot of us ended up moving away from the state. The state had supported us in our training here, but then the jobs that we were expecting to try and get were no longer here. So we had to move out to the West Coast to try and work.
And a lot of that is the issue of the struggling of the incentives. A lot of the states and even out of country are offering better tax incentives for filmmakers, which of course you just firsthand had the opportunity to kind of face that when you were down at the Cucahlores Film Festival.
That's true. At the Cucahlores Festival, there was a State of the State talk being given by a number of state delegates, as well as filmmakers here in the state, who were discussing where North Carolina filmmaking is going. And one of the things that came up were the incentives that filmmakers were given to film here in North Carolina. And it seemed like, although they discussed trying to have a grassroots filmmaking, trying to help the grassroots filmmaker and build up filmmakers here in North Carolina, the incentives seemed to be aimed at projects that were a much higher level than a grassroots level would seem to have be associated with.
Okay. So what do you suggest they should do? I mean, they're obviously, you can make a film for a lot less.
Sure, and most of the films that are done on a low budget around here are done on the $50,000 to $100,000, maybe $150,000 level. I would suggest dropping the incentive down to where those films could receive it and be benefited from it.
Sure.
Those filmmakers.
Well, you have a lot of talented people over at the School of Communication Arts, a lot of your students, and you're in charge of the film program
That's
there.
true.
So what are some of the programs that are over there that they're bringing the students? I know we've met with the School of School of Communication Arts before, but it's been a couple of years, and we've seen some new programs come in.
Well, the School of Communication Arts, of course, has an audio program. They have an animation program, advertising and design program, an interior design program, and of course the one that I'm associated with, the digital filmmaking program. And all of them are trying to stay at the forefront of not only the various computer programs and digital tools that are used for all those, but the faculty members are constantly working and trying to stay abreast of what the newest trends in those areas are as well.
It's a really good facility.
The facility is quite good, and it's constantly getting better.
Are you seeing more of an interest with students wanting to attend the school there?
Since I've been there about 8 months, in my own department, we've seen quite a growth in digital filmmaking.
Now you actually have a film to show us from one of your students, a short.
It's from one of the students in the digital filmmaking program. He graduated right as I was starting, and it's recently been finished. It's called Crash Course. It was done in association with TSN Studios, and quite a few of the students at the school appear in it in a couple of the large crowd scenes. But it combines all the great aspects of digital filmmaking, not only from an HD production to having digital computer animation being a part of it.
So bringing all those things together, it's really showcasing what the School of Communication Arts can really, how it can benefit students that are looking to go into filmmaking or any aspect of filmmaking.
Exactly.
Because it's not only filmmaking that you have there. I mean, there are programs designed for photography. What are some of the other programs they have there?
Like, we have the audio program where people learn audio engineering on a Pro Tools setup. We have digital animation where they learn Maya and they learn other aspects of digital art craft. And then we have the digital photography program, which is going into its second quarter right now, I believe. Interior design, which is also one of the newer programs at the school.
And an awesome sound studio now. I noticed the sound studio when I was actually working there once.
It's been built up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And here's my brother is also teaching there now. So.
But it's great. Well, I mean, it shows that it runs in the family, right?
Well, we like to think so.
All right, so this is Crash Course, and it's about 5 minutes long. It is a short by a number of students over at the School of Communication Arts. If you're interested in finding out more information about the school, you can go to higherdigital.com. That is actually their website. And George, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
No, thanks for having me.
Good to see you. And here's a look at Crash Course here on Second Cinema.